Greetings everyone, this is Cindy J from 1ITC and we are here to tackle about 4 issues regarding our group assessment in social and professional issues. Hi, this is Kim Solde from 1ITC and my student number is 2101885.
My name is Alan J. Torres from 1ITC and my student number is 2102183.
Good day, sir. My name is Rainiel Davera from 1ITC and my student number is 2102158.
Hi, I am Joylyn Leondelar Constantino from 1ITC. My student number is 2101351.
Good day, sir. I'm VJ Joven Bernardo from 1ITC and my student number is 2102085.
So, the first issue is, should cross-dressing be allowed in PNC or pamantasan ng kabuyaw? Let us first define cross-dressing. What is cross-dressing? Cross-dressing is the act of wearing items of clothing not commonly associated with one sex. Cross-dressing has been used for purposes of disguise, comfort, comedy, and self-expression in modern times and throughout history. It was stated by Wikipedia in the year 2022. With that out of the way, let's move on to the pros and cons of cross-dressing. First, the pros of cross-dressing. It can help the students become themselves. Upon learning that a student in PNC is allowed to cross-dress, it will gradually help them to express themselves that they weren't able to do so unlike before. Knowing that it is accepted, it will boost their confidence and that will allow them to be comfortable in their own skin, which leads us to comfort, another pro of cross-dressing. A person that is comfortable in their own space will most likely be more relaxed and more confident than those who are not. Which brings us to cross-dressing helping the students to improve. By letting them express themselves, it can make them contented and happy with themselves. It can help the students to become more participative and interactive to others, which will help in their school activities and presentations. Now, the cons of cross-dressing. The con that instantly came to mind was discrimination. Let's face it, discrimination will always be present no matter what we do. The students that will cross-dress would likely be more vulnerable to hateful comments. They will be prone to bullying, to being made core of the joke and being laughed at. Another con that came to mind was suppression. It is the opposite of students being themselves. They are suppressing who they truly are. Naturally, it would also have the opposite effect. They will also be in a state of uncertainty. They would always feel discomfort and nervousness, making them stress a lot of times.
After listing some pros and cons, we have decided that cross-dressing should be allowed in PNC. The pros that we listed are dependent on one another. You can say that they are one as a whole. With these pros, it will be a great help to those students that cross-dress if it were to be allowed. Cross-dressing is not a factor in a student's grades. In fact, it can help them to improve. So why is it still not allowed? Though discrimination will always be present, there are things that we can do to prevent them. The queer community has been talked about a lot these days, so a lot of people will be familiar with them. There are still people that are unaware or unaccepting of them. This will relate to relativism. Subjective relativism declares that each person is his own authority on the moral life and source of his own moral principles. On this reasoning, each person has the right to decide on all matters of right and wrong. According to subjective relativism, what's right for you may not be right for me, and vice versa. No one has any right to impose morality on anyone else, so there is really no point to arguing about decisions on matters of morals or learning, all about justifying moral judgment according to reason, because there is no need to justify them anyway at all.
I will be discussing tattoos, skin piercing, and or other bodily mutilation. So, many individuals are attracted to tattoos just in light of their magnificence or on the grounds that they look cool. Regardless of whether they join no more extensive importance to the tattoo, they may be constrained to get one since they are enchanted with a specific plant or picture and need it for all time ink on their skin. Some people believe that getting tattoos has an advantage on improving immune system. Tattoos, skin piercing, and other bodily mutilation can boost someone's self-confidence. Because in some ways, having tattoos become their way of coping on their problems. They look more confident about how they look after getting tattoos. On the other hand, getting tattoos, having piercing on different parts of the body, and the bodily mutilation is not always right in the eyes of other people. We cannot avoid the fact that we are living in a not so perfect society where some people think that those who has tattoos are not good person and sometimes they are being mistreated by the society. They are being misjudged as someone who come out from the prison, and it happens most of the time. Aside from that, having tattoos is expensive. It may also lead to infection that may affect our blood. Through the tattoos, some communicable diseases can be transmitted when it is done with improper hygiene. It can be a serious problem. Another one is the job opportunities. Some companies are very strict about having an employee with tattoos, so it may be a hindrance when you're applying for a job. In the corporate world, they prefer of hiring someone who will look presentable in front of their client. So it is really a disadvantage when you have a tattoo as well as a body piercing.
So we are not intending to judge those who have tattoos, body piercing, and bodily mutilation. But for us, it's still better if we disallow this in school, because we all know that school is still an institution that helps the students to learn and grow, and at the same time, it also helps us to be disciplined. In consequentialism, it states that a particular action holds a consequences and it will be based on a valid moral judgment regarding the action. It also stated there that it produces good consequences, but at this issue, letting the students to have tattoos, body piercing, bodily mutilation is not recommendable. We should know that we still need to look decent around school premises because it is still our training ground for our future profession. Having and exposing tattoos, body piercing, and bodily mutilation in school may not look good, though it is still our choice and decision in life. But if we are still a student, we should just focus on our studies because there is a right time for everything. We can have tattoos and body piercing whenever we want, but not when we are still a student. We should think about our decision twice or even thrice, as well as the action that it may have.
I will be discussing about long hair for men and multicolor hair for both men and women. Long hair for men is okay because having a long hair, it does not affect the academic performance of the students. Hair is not about style because they said that our hair says our personality. Cut of a hair or length of a hair has nothing to do to our memory, or there is no negative impact to their ability to learn. Instead, according to the studies, hair is not just a symbol of your beauty. Even a person's hair says a lot more about his personality. According to researchers, our hair somehow influences our nature, thinking, intellect, and force. The process of hair growth is similarly in all human beings, but the characteristics vary from a person to person based on their geographical and environmental conditions. It is said that when the hair of your head gets long, then our head gets phosphorus, calcium, and vitamin D naturally. They eventually enter the body through two tubes at the top of the brain. This ionic change makes the human memory more efficient and stronger. With this, the person gets physically energy, better stamina, and patience. At the same time, some people even believe that by cutting hair, you not only lose their extra energy and nutrition, but have to spend significant amounts of vital energy and nutrients to regenerate your hair. Hair is is termed as body antenna. They collect the energy of the sun and bring it into the brain. If you look at the ancient India, then at the time the saints used to have long hair, they kept the hair locked. This lump of hair above the head stimulates the pineal gland in the center of the brain by activating the magnetic field of the frontal. As the result of this activity of the pineal gland, there is a secretion that is focused on the development of higher intellectual activity. The hair balances the whole electromagnetic field of your body, which helps you increase your vitality and understanding.
Having hair color can create distractions because of the unnatural color of the hair. There are schools that prohibit students from coloring their hair because for them it looks like unprofessional and it makes the school look bad. But having a hair color or striking hair color does not define who you are as one being. Hair color does not affect the student's academic performance because there is no study that hair color affects our brain, so it is okay to having a hair color. Loud hair color for women and any length on men do not affect a student's academic performance. Having a striking hair color or long hair do not define one's being. There is no justification that these things can be a factor that may affect how a student performs in school. According to Dr. Santa Maria, the psychological explanation on why students dye hair or wearing long hair for male is because students want to express who they really are, their identity as a human being. At this age period, 18 to 21 years old, the first task of a teenager is to define himself or herself. And it is important that you express yourself. She added, it is more of expressing one's identity from the perspective of a teenager who is growing and developing.
Hair does not hinder academic performance. First of all, there's no specific study that correlates academic performance with hair color. The brain does not absorb the colors dyed on a student's hair to cause its malfunction. According to Joresa de la Rosa, a third-year student from University of Santo Tomas, Faculty of Civil Law, it will not affect the capacity of the students to learn, and it is irrelevant to correlate learning with the hair color. In fact, hard work, smart study habits, and a healthy lifestyle are more relevant factors of an outstanding performance at school.
Super mini skirts and or very sexy clothing for women. First, let us identify what are considered a very sexy clothing for women. These are the crop tops which reveals your abdomen, a dress or a skirt that has high slit, a fitted shorts, fitted skimpy dress, and many more to consider. Super mini skirts are like mini skirt having length at the upper thigh, growing area, or undergarments level. There are some advantages of wearing this kind of clothes for women. Some women tend to feel good while wearing this kind of clothes. This helps to boost their confidence. It also helps to express themselves. Wearing revealing clothes does not only mean to show off their body, therefore, it may vary within the weather they are currently experiencing. It may do them a favor to be comfortable physically. Girls should be comfortable at school, which begins with dressing up something which keeps students cool and delighted.
Though we have advantages, the opposite of it is overpowering. Women wearing super mini skirts are being judged quickly, especially by the older people. The reason may be the different mindset they have relating to their own generation. Back then, wearing revealing outfits are not practiced unless they are at the beach or something is connected to swimming. Despite the fact that there is nothing wrong on how women or girls are being dressed, it is still the reality that this kind of clothes can be distracting to some men. However, the fault is not on them. We may consider a fact that it is school that we are talking about. So dress codes are implemented on most of the schools around the world. It is for us to look professional and it is a place of learning as well. Women are being objectified just because on how they're dressed. There are some instances that they are being catcalled, which considered as sexual harassment and being shamed as well.
According to our group discussion regarding this topic, wearing super mini skirts or very sexy clothing for women should not be allowed in our school, which is the PNC. We understand how women feel, but there's a place where they can wear anything they want with the exception of school. We should look presentable and contemplate on how we dress appropriately when we are at the academic places. Some clothes can be acceptable, but not the super mini skirt and over-revealing clothing. We should follow the rules on our designated school and just wear uniform because it benefits us and helps us to prepare for the outside world. School uniforms educate students for the formal situations that we all face throughout our lives. We expected to dress and appear a specific way depending on the occasion. Job interviews are an amazing illustration. Adults are required to dress professionally in job contexts, and students will learn this courtesy to a school uniform. Consequentialism refers to those moral theories that hold that the consequences of a particular action form the basis for any valid moral judgment about that action. Thus, on a consequentialist account, a morally right action is an action which produces good consequences. It was stated on our module by Kiachon 2022. We picked which has the best consequence, which is just wear a uniform. Thank you for watching and thank you for listening. That will be all and thank you.